over this. You don't even know the texture, the state of the engine oil you have in the engine. And the vehicle comes right in. Instead of you to take it to a tech shop where you run maintenance services on it so that you change all the fluid, the next thing you want to do is jump in that car and start driving it on the road.
I'll tell you why most people do this.
I think it's foreign oil, right?
You know, we have this attachment to Tokumbos. You know, feeling that everything Tokumbo-ish is better, you know, have better quality and all that. So when some people buy a vehicle, they don't like to change the oil, even though if it is black. They assume that, okay, this is the original oil that came with it. You know, sometimes it's like a pride to some people, like, I still have the original oil.
That's what I'm saying, foreign oil.
I agree with LJ because they believe that the oil is still foreign. I mean,
Look at what she said.
they are forgetting is this vehicle was on the IC for a very long time. And we have the stability of the moisture. Yes. And this will have gotten, into the moisture will have gotten into the oil. Yeah. And definitely it will have compromised the integrity of that oil. So they all believe that, foreign oil, like LJ says, and they want to keep it in there for as long as they can.
But the truth is that one thing I always say when we start talking about lubrication, the engine oil itself is the lifeblood of the engine.
Pascal just said that.
Yeah, it's just the same thing as you having your blood.
Yeah.
If your blood is drained out of your body, do you have anything?
No, I would look at it like you bring blood from overseas down here, it's still blood. There is nothing like foreign blood or local blood. The truth is, engine oil, you have foreign blood, and you speak pidgin like something else.
Well, you know, it's easy to find out. Let's just pick a portion of his body.
And get
my blood is blue, red, and white.
No, it's purple.
Yeah, just tell me you have rainbow blood.
Now, going back to the business, the point is, oils, they have standard.
Yeah.
You have rated standards that oil they follow, and it's the same thing everywhere in the world where you find the engine oil. As long as the rating is on it, it's the same thing it is here that it would be in America. So that attachment to the oil coming with the vehicle being foreign, we should please displace that. There is nothing like that. What's your question, Harry?
You know, when you go to the petrol station and you buy measured oil, I heard it's not good for the car, that they mix it all together with different. So what's your take? Are people allowed to buy the 200, 300 just to top up, or should you just go and buy a brand new?
Now, let me tell you something about the oil you see all around. There are so many oils out there, and that is why a lot of people are really confused. What kind of oil do I really put in my engine? Now, there's what is known as base oil. Base oil is just an oil without the additives in it.
More or less like a monograde. A monograde is even better.
Yeah, a monograde is still better than a base oil.
Base oil.
Yeah, and you know, the conviction here is that a lot of people believe that oil is thick. Therefore, it will be able to withstand pressure and temperature, but they are wrong. Because by the time you subject such oil to temperature,
it's flat.
Pressure, it flattens out and it looks even thinner than your groundnut oil.
Thinner, because you have some bonding agent in your oil that bonds to the metal surface in the cylinder area, which is the cylinder walls.
Yeah, even on the crankshaft. On the crankshaft, all the metal
and this bonds. These agents bond to the metal to reduce the friction. And also you have detergent in it that cleans the carbon. But when you're buying the base oil, it's just like you, how will I put it? Yeah, somebody draining your blood out.
It's just like a drawing without any painting on it.
Yes.
It's just empty.
Yeah. Empty.
I think Pascal has something to say.
Yeah. Normally, there are two bodies that test for the quality of oil. We have the API, the American Petroleum Institute. They actually test for the quality of oil, and they have some service ratings that are normally labeled in the oil can when you want to buy them. We have the service ratings are normally 2 letters. The first letter, we have S. That S stands for service, and it's normally applied to gasoline engines. That is your normal petrol engine. And we have the other one, C. C applies to commercial engines, normally heavy duty engines like your diesel engines. So the ratings, the second alphabet there indicates the grade of the oil. So they started with A up to now, I think it's up to J. We have SA, SB, SC, up to J.
Oh no, I think we are up to SN now.
SN now.
SN, yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, the oil, you can see it has gone a long way.
Most of SM already.
SM.
SM.
SM is out.
SN.
N.
Yeah.
N now,
Yes,
right?
N.
Yeah. Because the last I saw was SM.
Yeah, the SM, I think, is they've gone through past SM now. They are on SN.
You know,
So that tells you that
there's a constant research going on a daily basis that how can we improve the quality of the oil? How can the quality in order so that it will be able to withstand the heat and the breakdown, because you have once you have the crankcase bypass, which is your unborn fume, all those things mixing with the oil, it breaks down the integrity of the oil, and due to research, all these things have been improved on.
Yeah, and don't forget now that newer engines have been developed on a regular basis. Therefore, you need the oil to be developed along with the engine. You have carbureted engines in the past.
Now we have fuel injected.
Engine
these days are lighter, not as heavy as before, because they're using different metals.
Yeah. And then the tolerance level
of those metals, it's different. So, and the oil has to be able to burn and be able to withstand the heat that's been generated by these engines.
Yeah, and he just talked about the S grading now.
Yeah.
There is the C now.
Yes.
Which is believed to be very, very specific with diesel engines.
Yeah.
So maybe we should hear the grading for the C also.
The grading for the C, we also have the second letter, we have CA up to I think CD now, or CE. But normal now, CD and CE are the recommended oil for diesel engines. So the SAE also talks about the viscosity or weight of the oil. That has to do with the resistance to flow, that is the thickness of the oil. So we have some ratings. Normally you see a letter and we have W and another number. Those ones are called multi-grade oils. Multi-grade oils. Normally you see 5W, then you see a dash, maybe 30. The first letter there indicates the temperature at which the oil operates, that is at low temperature region, while the last number, the high number there, indicates that the oil will operate at that particular temperature. That should be the highest temperature at which the oil will operate. And the W there stands for winter, that is cold region. So normally, as your engine works, the oil does a lot of important job inside your engine. It cleans the engine, it takes away heat from moving parts.
So in other words, oil is acting as a coolant too in your engine.
Lubrication has always been a way of cooling.
Yes.
Because you see the big transformers they install here and there, they always put
oil in them.
Make transformers, even old ignition coil have oil in them.
Yes.
Now, one point I would like to make clear now, somebody will be asking out there, what's monograde and
what's multigrade?
Monograde oil, they were actually displaced because it was monograde, meaning that it was just a single grade. It would only operate well on one temperature, which is maybe at cold temperature. When it becomes hot, it cannot operate normally again. And when I mean operate now, it cannot lubricate properly. Another reason why they were displaced is in the morning you want to start your engine. In those olden days, when you start the engine, you first of all hear this metal to metal sound before it smoothens out. That is because the oil is too heavy. Being monograde, before it spreads to every area of the engine, every aspect of the engine, there will be metal clanging and all that before it gets there. It's another reason. Now, in order to make engines more smarter and then make them less fuel consuming, they had to make the engines lighter. And then the only way to keep the engine well lubricated is to bring an oil that can stay in between. It can act as, in cold weather, it can go around the engine, circulate properly. In hot condition, it can also do the same job, keeping its viscosity where it is. That is why we now have multi-grade oil that can work at low temperature and at high temperature. So please use multi-grade oil.
But you know, one of the problems we also have out there, most of the mechanics out there are used to a monograde oil.
Yes.
And each time you are trying to convince them to buy a good oil that has all the properties, they are still not convinced. They, they're still stuck with
most of them.
They'll tell you SAE 40.
SAE 40. They still believe that the monograde is it's thicker, and their belief is the thicker oil would dampen